We will lie to them on the beaches,
express my gratitude to them and build on our record of making sure that this is the best country in the world for veterans.
we shall lie to them on the airwaves,
You're not going to say the £2,000 which has been hailed as a lie.
and we shall never not blunder.
Ken Hay, a 98-year-old D-Day veteran, told us that you let the country down.
These are the interesting times. Hello everyone, my name's Matt Johnston and welcome to The Interesting Times, a political comedy show from right here in the UK. The campaigning is entering its second week and Tuesday saw the debate take place between Starmer and Sunak. Both came ready for war, or indeed a heated argument. Sunak was armed with one overriding message.
You want to put everyone's taxes up by £2,000. £2,000 worth of higher taxes. He would put up everyone's taxes by £2,000.
£2,000? I can't afford £2,000. Right, that's it. Everyone, make sure you vote Conservative at the next election. Don't vote Labour. Tell all your friends to make sure everyone votes Tory. I can't believe we nearly fell for that. Unless that's not true. But that would mean that the Conservatives are...
Apparently, Labour, according to your party, going to increase taxes by £2,000. Labour says that's a complete and utter lie.
Now, the Tories claim almost every costing in the document has been conducted by the Treasury. Here's the problem. The Treasury wants nothing to do with it. In his letter, James Bowler basically said, as you heard with Carl, civil servants did make some of the calculations, but they were based on assumptions presented by special advisors who are Tory.
It's still, whatever, it's still a lie.
Okay. Call me old-fashioned, but it's not okay for a political leader to lie to the public, least of all the Prime Minister.
We have to say it as it is. He's lying.
My point is that every figure that the Tories are relying on is independent of the Tory party. And if I may just give you one example, we have allocated for Labour's...
No, it isn't. Conservative Party document. Conservative special advisors contributed to those calculations and that presentation of them.
They are official figures from the Treasury. I just have to pick you up on that, but they are figures that were given to them to work on by SPADs, by special political advisors. So they do have a political background.
Well, you can call that a Treasury costing if you like, but it's not really. It's certainly not something that you can say is produced by, quote, independent civil servants. So when Sunak said that, he was, I'm afraid, lying.
I hated every second I spent on it. Total waste of time, right? These costings are done using assumptions provided by special advisors. They are basically misleading.
A lie is still a lie.
It's not a lie.
You can get
Emily,
a Prime
it's not
Minister
a lie.
who'll just go,
it's not
I'm
a lie.
lying,
It's not
and
a lie.
And you'll get the new one who'll go, let's go away and let's sit down with all the Tory special advisors and let's cook up a really big lie.
So why do they do this? Isn't it obvious?
In terms of CCHQ, so they'll be probably pretty happy that all everybody's discussing right now is by how much the Labour Party is going to put up your taxes.
On one hand, I can see why he really pushed this. But what are we all talking about today? We're talking about the Labour tax burden.
Liar's got to lie. Even the Conservative adverts seem to suggest they weren't exactly truthful. They are literally showing a flying pig with a £2,000 message. Who made the video? Liz Truss?
Pork markets.
But by the end of the week, nobody was talking about £2,000.
They were allies with a common purpose, the liberation of Europe.
They are about to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the Normandy landings. In the recovery of Europe from Hitler, it was a pivotal moment.
Yes, it was the D-Day commemoration, 80 years since that remarkable day when the Allies landed on Normandy beaches and was the beginning of the end of the Second World War. All the world leaders were there. Macron, Scholz and Joe Biden, who unfortunately was too old to take part in the original landings. And in a nod to the past, David Cameron, who was literally overshadowed by the other three. So, where's Shorty?
What was he thinking when he walked up the steps of that plane yesterday to leave early from Normandy to come back to do a TV interview as part of the campaign? Instantly a TV interview that doesn't go out until next Wednesday.
To be fair to Sunak, perhaps he forgot which side he was supposed to be cheering. And if you remember the Conservative Party, do you really want to be reminded of when fascism was smashed in Europe?
The itinerary for these events was set weeks ago, before the start of the general election campaign.
Exactly. Don't blame Sunak, blame the idiot that called this election. So why did Sunak leave? For an interview. This interview.
Are you willing to lie in order to stay in power?
No.
The Labour Party say you're a liar.
Yeah, I think it's pretty desperate stuff.
In which he lied about lying and called the leader of the opposition, who is 20 points ahead of him in the polls, desperate. Still, it's worth mentioning he is our Prime Minister and as such can count on the support of those around him. Under him. Let's be honest, over him. The Conservative Party were prepared to celebrate the D-Day anniversary celebrations in their own unique fashion by doing things like parachuting the chairman of the Conservative Party into a safe seat. This was Richard Holden speaking to ITV a couple of weeks ago.
About trying to find a safer seat, isn't it, somewhere else in the country for yourself, rather than being loyal to the North East?
No, I am bloody loyal to the North East, Tom. I care about this constituency. I fought for them every day since 2019.
How dare you, Tom? How absolutely dare you? Richard is very loyal and will fight for the people of the North East, be it Durham, Newcastle, Whitley Bay, Essex.
So you're the candidate now?
Yes, absolutely.
OK, how's it gone down? How have you gone down with the local members?
Well, I was just at the members. We saw them tonight, the executive. I obviously had a lot of questions, but I got unanimous support from the executive.
Was one of their questions, what are you doing running around here? Not so long ago, you were saying about how you were loyal to the North East. What happened to that loyalty?
So I'd said that I am blooming loyal to the North East.
There's a lot of other seats you could have sat in that don't have a 20,000 strong majority.
Let me be very clear. I was very loyal. Obviously.
Yeah, so was this a stitch up to make sure that you got a safe seat?
No. The guys here tonight could have said no. They backed me unanimously.
Unanimously is quite the claim when you consider that Richard Holden was presented on a very, very short list of one, making it less of a list and more of a name badge. It seems for the Tory party chairman, the only way isn't ethics. And stepping through the minefield that is gender and sex recognition, the Equalities Minister, Kemi Badenoch.
Saying that somebody can legally change their sex.
At the moment, the law says a legal sex is changed with a gender recognition certificate. And how that applies in different scenarios, there's a lot of confusion.
But you are saying that somebody can legally change their sex, aren't you?
You cannot change your sex. You can change your legal sex. A gender recognition. I actually think we need to move away from the term legal sex and talk about gender. We have a gender recognition.
I think it was
certificate.
you who used that term, not me.
Yes, because that's what the law is now. So I'm talking about what the law is and how we're trying to clarify it to make it clearer for the future.
Right. Well, at least we've managed to get a bit of clarity on this. And you know, I'd almost forgotten about this one. Home Secretary and below standard bearer, James Cleverly. James, where have you been? He appeared on Kay Burley's show on Sky on Wednesday to make the case for another 5 years of Tories. The fact that he hasn't been on our screens a whole lot says that at least the Conservative Party is getting something right. Kay Burley took the opportunity to point out to thick Fred Flintstone the gaffe on one of their campaign videos.
But I do want to ask you about your campaign video. I'm sure you're aware of the challenges that are in that campaign video.
What happens.
But we're talking about the flag.
So it's a video of the flag. I'm not sure that
I'm not sure.
He's not sure.
The video's obviously been transposed or it's been flown upside down. But
Well,
the point
it'll be
is,
the latter, won't it?
well, quite possibly. But the point
definitely.
is, obsess
We know
about
that
a video of a flag.
flying upside down means what?
No, it doesn't. This is complete nonsense.
Okay. It doesn't mean a distress signal.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
I did check with top brass and they told me it did.
It really does.
It really does.
Okay.
It really doesn't.
It really does. Actually, he could be right, because while flying the Union flag upside down is a distress signal, it is also lèse majesté, which is insulting the crown and a crime. And of course, it could also be that the very party that drapes Union flags over everything like it's an 80th D-Day celebration that the Prime Minister skipped don't have a clue about what it should actually look like. Those virtue signallers. Even Penny Mordaunt got in on the act, turning up to the Seven Parties debate in her army-issued hair helmet, although that didn't protect her from the flack she was getting from the Red Queen.
It's rubbish, and you've just said that we need a strong economy. You backed Liz Truss and crashed our economy. You made people like me redundant when we were in the home care service.
And yet, despite all this, the enemy will still find a way to attack you. The enemy, of course, being teachers, train drivers, junior doctors, senior doctors, nurses, the armed services, lawyers, the old, the young, women, men, non-binary, oh, and GPs, of course.
Disintegrating. I am one of 2,500 GPs in this country who are currently unemployed due to your policies.
Well,
you cannot employ lesser qualified people instead of GPs. They cannot be replaced. They cannot be coped with by half-qualified staff.
Most GPs spend more time on holiday than in surgery, love.
Oh, really? Is that so? You go to your surgery.
Oh, God, don't laugh at that. Maybe you can make some sort of human connection.
We are also making it easier for people to see other primary care practitioners to get the treatments they need. And that's where I'll respectfully disagree with you.
Or not. Simply grin inanely and respectfully disagree with a GP with real-world experience. Should have stayed in Normandy, mate. Thankfully, the Germans in 1944 were as effective at stopping the boats as Rishi Sunak is 80 years later.
So this is the David Cameron cap. This is showing you net migration, so the bars above the line showing that's more people coming in than going. And of course, famously, the post-Brexit rules come into force. This was the response to Brexit. What did it do? Those rules came in and look at the bars. They went up higher than ever.
Ah, yes, Brexit, the £350 million elephant in the room. Does anybody in Thursday's Question Time audience think that it's still a good idea?
Who here is seeing the benefits of Brexit?
Anyone?
Whoa.
I mean, anybody?
OK, so none of you, nobody, no one has put the... Yes, go on, there's one hand up, let's hear from you.
Ah, OK. Pen at the ready. Take your time, be as clear and concise as possible.
Like outside non-sovereignty, like what the EU stands for is making laws for the states that are a part of it, rather than the states making the decisions and the laws for themselves. It gives us sovereignty being away from that instead, and if being in a longer queue is something is a cost, I'd rather that.
OK, yeah, got it. Leaving the EU was a good idea because outside sovereignty, states making laws, yeah, non-EU states, so, yeah, like it. See, Ramonas, there are Brexit benefits if you just do your homework like this guy. And that's it. No time to talk about Lib Dems. Following their famous photobomb, their leader, Ed Davey, whacked a giant inflatable ball with drumsticks to the tune of We Will Rock You at a Care Home. I know what I sound like when I say it, but honestly, we've got the video. He then got off the Yellowhammer One, their battle bus, to play Jenga in a car park.
Are you looking forward to today's event?
Always.
Oh, you have a prop for us. What have you got for us today?
Well, it's going to be blue, and it's going to come down.
We'll come and see in a minute or two.
I mean, has no one told the Lib Dems that there's a general election happening in a few weeks' time? They seem to be preparing less for government and more for a jamboree. Can we have one policy, one singular policy from the Liberal Democrats which will get people voting for them.
In this election, I'm focused in on Liberal Democrat policies. And I said when I became leader of the party that my job was to get rid of as many Conservative MPs as possible.
That'll do it. Turn that into Latin, slap that phrase at the top of all your stationery. No time to talk about Nigel Farage, who has entered the fray. He's going to stand as an MP. He's got a lot of practice.
Eastleigh, Salisbury, Bexhill, South Thanet, Bromley, Buckingham, South Thanet. You lose and lose and lose.
He then received his customary welcome from the good people of Clacton. Which was the first time he'd had a creamy substance thrown in his face since he went to see Donald Trump to try to get the British ambassador's job. Speaking of which...
Well, are you still backing Donald Trump despite his conviction?
More than ever. More than ever. I think the American judicial system stinks.
Unsurprising, the American judicial system stinks, the amount of Trumps there are in court. But Nigel wanted to put a brave face on Milkshake Gate. And thankfully, and ironically, he's not lactose intolerant.
My milkshake brings all the people to the rally.
That's not the title of the song, Nigel. You know that's not the title of the song. It's My Milkshake Brings All the Boys to My Yard. And with lyrics like, what the guys go crazy for, they lose their minds, the way I wind. You want me to teach the techniques that freaks these boys? And we all know what that means. Oh, I don't want to think too much about where this is going. Thank you all so much for watching. And if you have enjoyed these videos, then please share, subscribe, like, and comment. And I'll see you all next week. Take care.